Hello and welcome to Streaming Wars. I'm Yael Teagle.
I'm Chelsea Schwartz.
And we are the show that helps you wade through the endless sea of streaming content to find the service that is the best. Today we have a lot to talk about, but last week Disney Plus was our winner, and I am excited to see who wins this week. Chelsea, what have you been spending the most time on this week, and who do you think is going to take the lead?
You know, I'm really struggling every week with this question to not just say HBO Max and Big Bang Theory. But to be honest, I actually am become so self-conscious about that answer that this week when I went to go watch Big Bang Theory, I was like, isn't there anything else you want to watch? So I actually spent a lot of time on Netflix and Disney Plus. So I'm going to give 2 points to both Netflix and Disney Plus.
I love that. I also spent a lot of time over on Netflix, so I'm going to give them another 3 points. But I also struggle to not predict Netflix as the winner each week. I also spent some time over on Disney Plus as well because of WandaVision, of course, and because I needed my X-Men fix, and I started rewatching the animated series from '92. So another 2 points to Disney Plus. But let's jump into what we're talking about this week.
Yeah, lots happened. It's been 2 weeks since we had an episode, so obviously the content doesn't stop coming out. So we're going to get through some of the highlights. They're not necessarily the best of what's out there, but we'll help navigate you away from some things maybe you don't need to see and some things you definitely need to see. Starting with Bliss on Amazon Prime Video. Bliss is a new feature film with Selma Hayek and Owen Wilson. Right there, I tend to be like 75% of the time Owen Wilson hits for me. You know, so I went in going, this is an interesting concept. I like Owen, let's see what it does. And I feel like it just missed the mark everywhere it could. It felt too long. I was very confused by the film, but not in like a good way. Like I'm still not sure in this current moment what was real and what wasn't, and the reality that they were building with these alternative worlds. And I feel like by the end of the movie, I should have a concept of that. So I'm going to take away 3 points from Amazon.
Oh man, this movie actually very much excited me from the trailer. It looked super sci-fi, so I'm giving them 5 points for sci-fi with Selma Hayek. Straight off the bat, Amazon's getting 5 points. But to hear that it's disappointing, you're not the first person to tell me that. I'm taking away one of those points from Amazon because I wanted it to be better. And that's such a shame.
Awesome. Well, that moves us into a series I know both of us and also our producer Junior is absolutely raving about right now. This is Ginny and Georgia. It's brand new to Netflix. Depending on what day you're watching this video, it might not have even come out for a day or two yet. I was like, but it's worth watching. And if you haven't seen it yet, get yourself pumped because we're all about it.
Yeah, Ginny and Georgia is like the freeform show on Netflix. So I'm giving Netflix 8 points right off the bat for that because it's got everything you love about a freeform show. It has, you know, sexy teens. It has the mystery and drama. It has manipulative adults. It's very fun, and I'm kind of obsessed, which I was not expecting. So I'm really loving this show. I think everyone's going to be talking about Ginny and Georgia, and it was shot in Canada, which means it has some of my favorite Canadian actors stopping by. So if you watched Killjoys or Dark Matter, you're going to see some familiar faces.
I feel like we should have our producer weigh in here. So, look, there he is. There's Junior. What do you think?
Well, I love this show, guys. It had drama, it had comedy, it had a little bit of sexual innuendos, okay? It had some like crazy, like I'm going to go out with you, I'm going to sneak into your bedroom and this and this and that. Like I couldn't believe it. I loved it, guys. I'm going to give it 10 points.
It's amazing.
Thank you,
Love it. Love to hear it. It's definitely a show worth watching. You know, I know Yale gave some points. I know Junior gave it some points. I'm going to go ahead and give it another 5 points because I feel like anything more than that is overkill from us at this point. But just, you guys, check out Ginny and Georgia.
Let's take it to Disney Plus. I know you're such a big fan of Disney Plus properties, and they have this new adorable film, Flora and Ulysses.
Flora and Ulysses is absolutely adorable too. That is a great way to describe it. This was based off of a novel that they have adapted into this live action CGI film because Ulysses is a squirrel. And it's a CGI squirrel, but don't worry, it does not speak English. It is just the cutest CGI squirrel that you've ever seen, and he's a superhero. It's amazing. And because Disney owns Marvel now, they start the film off with a bunch of Marvel references, including showing images from the comics. So Marvel fans are going to get excited. The soundtrack, OK Go, kicked in, and I immediately paused the film and just was in my apartment going, yes, yes, yes. And then we got the return, or maybe she's been in things, I just haven't seen her, of Janine Garofalo, who I loved growing up. And not to mention, I got compared to her all the time growing up. Everyone felt like I was as sarcastic and kind of looked like her. So much love for Janine Garofalo. She looked amazing. And it stars Ben Schwartz. And, you know, I'm a fellow Schwartz. So all of the things for Flora and Ulysses, 10 points.
Yeah, I agree. This is a stacked cast. Like you said, Ginny Garofalo, Allison Hannigan. It's really amazing. I'm going to give them 5 points. Disney Plus is getting that from me. I also think that it's a great way to start bringing the superhero stories to a younger generation. Not that they're not watching what's currently happening, but I think it's a great way to be like, here's one just for you. And I love that.
Can we also just talk about that Flora is a young girl? And first of all, the girl that's playing her is phenomenal. I think she's going to do great things. But we get to see a girl be extremely knowledgeable about comics and take down adult nerds in her comic lore. And like, that was so empowering for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Another 2 points to Disney Plus for empowering young women to be the comic gatekeepers.
Absolutely. Moving on to Netflix, we've got the latest installment of To All the Boys. What did you think, Yael?
So I binged all 3 of them back to back to back. And I have to say, I love the cast of the To All the Boys trilogy, but this story continues to perpetuate this unhealthy relationship that I think we need to stop doing in movies. We need to stop having young women consider a partner over their future. And I think that that is a big problem with these movies, is that she is choosing to do things that are outside of what's right for her over the things that will help her life.
Why is it always a choice if you can either have love or you can have the thing, whatever the thing is?
I totally agree. So I'm going to say 5 points for the casting for Netflix.
And I'm taking away 2 points for making me choose.
Yeah. I think it's not a great message.
Well,
Sorry.
speaking of interesting messages of things, Amazon Prime Video also dropped The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, which was an interesting spin on a teenage romantic comedy meets Groundhog Day. And once I realized we were in a time loop for the movie, I was completely in. But then how they get out of the time loop of creating this map of tiny perfect things, literally, was just the most adorable concept about seizing life, finding the little moments to appreciate and taking the time to stop and appreciate them. And I loved that message. And I'm giving that 7 points to Amazon Prime Video.
Amazing. I am giving it 3 points for exciting me.
Another reason to be excited over on Disney Plus, we have Myth: A Frozen Tale. This is a little 10-minute short that actually came from a VR video that they made, a virtual reality video where they wanted to put fans inside the world of Frozen. And now they've given us a way to experience it for those of us who do not have virtual reality. Honestly, if you've watched the Disney Plus Zenimation, where it's all just beautiful animation and soundscapes, that's kind of what this felt like. And it was very soothing and relaxing, and it has limited dialogue. It's just really a narration that only exists for maybe half of it, and that's from Evan Rachel Wood. I really, really loved it. I think Brittany Lee, who is one of my favorite artists to follow on Instagram as well, she was the visual developer for this story. And her art style combines some sculptured elements with 2D animation that will feel in places like Fantasia, like a modern day Fantasia. But it also reminds me of another artist I really love. Shout out to Ashley Taylor. And so I'm just going to give it 10 points for the art styling. But also, I really love that we got to see all the Enchanted Forest spirits again, like Bruni and the Nook, which I always want to call the Nook Shadowfax, like Lord of the Rings, Gandalf's horse Shadowfax, which reminds me, Amazon, where is the Lord of the Rings series? just any news about it whatsoever. You know what? I'm taking 5 points away from Amazon right now.
I'm going to give 2 points to Disney for keeping it short, but I'm going to take away 5 points from Disney for keeping us in the Frozen universe. Let's move on. Let's move on from Frozen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I know we also watched I Care a Lot this week on Netflix. What did you think about this?
Yeah, so this is a movie that has all of the elements that I love. We've got con artists, which like is one of my favorite things in a movie. We've got a female lead. We've got a lesbian love story, all things I love. So 7 points right there. I will say, unfortunately, I think that all of the elements were there, but this movie was too long. It felt like there were 3 different endings where we could have stopped and it just kept going. And I feel like it could have been done better, and it could have been done either funnier or more actiony or faster. There's just something amiss. So I'm taking away.
Do you also feel like there was an uncanny amount of extremely long montages with no audio and just like no dialogue, but just like music playing that like they kept happening? Like one montage in the film, fine, but like there was just multiple, like that felt like too much and overkill. So I'm taking away 2 points for too many montages, but I'm adding 5 points for Peter Dinklage because he is amazing.
Totally agree. 100%.
All right, time to get into our headlines. The last 2 weeks have also been full of the TCAs. If you don't know what that is, that's a Television Critics Association. This is like the big press tours that happen about all the upcoming slates. So we've got a lot of news about streaming services. And let's start off with HBO Max. I was going to call it Adult Max.
Yeah, Adult Max is accurate because HBO Max is bringing us, they're bringing back Clone High, which I know a lot of people are excited about. They're doing a Velma series, and we have another one. It is Fired on Mars.
Which Clone High is from Lord and Miller, who brought us Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that have a new live action murder mystery series coming to Apple TV Plus called The After Party. Like, this duo is on fire. And Velma finally getting like an origin story from the Scooby Gang. I am here for it. HBO Max, 10 points.
Wow. I'm going to give them another 3, 1 for each of those series, but that's about it. I know you're really excited about the Hulu news.
Well, we already knew that The Great was getting a season 2, but Hulu also started to show us images and a little teaser of what might be happening in season 2 for The Great. And I need to know whose baby it is right now.
Yeah, I'm given
5
Hulu
points are being taken away for the mystery and making me wait on this answer.
I was going to give Hulu 3 points on your behalf, but I guess not.
You still can. Now they're just down to -2. It's fine. You balanced it out. Speaking of other things I'm really looking forward to, though, I literally screamed with excitement and joy over this news this week. Paramount Plus has announced another original series that will be coming to their platform eventually, not upon launch on March 4th, but they are bringing back Frasier. Now, in my household, which is just me and my roommate, this is a series we watch all of the time. We've probably watched every season at least 52 times from start to finish. And it's with Kelsey Grammer and David Hyde Pierce. They're both back. We're getting Frasier and Niles. I am so excited. 7 points. He was like, and I have nothing to say.
I had a thought. I was like, do I have a thought? Nope, I have no thought.
No thoughts. All right. But speaking of new services, another thing I discovered this week while attending the TCAs is that there is a service called Curiosity Stream, which I find curious because where have they been? And apparently they've been streaming for 2 years. So I'm going to just take away 5 points from everyone because really, this is way too many services. Apparently, this service is based on factual programming, though, with a lot of focus on documentaries. Their content actually looks quite legit with there's content from Kristen Bell and Samuel L. Jackson and some really great names. It just shows you how much content is really out there and how truly overwhelming it is. And that's all I'm going to say about Curiosity Stream.
I'm taking 2 points away from us because it's like we're encouraging more services to happen. And I'm so disappointed in us.
Fair enough. Well, then get excited for this, Yael, because we're both loving WandaVision. That's no secret. They're presenting us with Marvel Studios Assembled, which is the making of WandaVision. So I'm imagining this is going to be like the gallery that we got for Mandalorian. which I also found out, I believe, I could be wrong, that this is a series for this docuseries, and with only the first episode dropping on March 12th, which means that gap we were going to have between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, that 1 week where we weren't going to have new MCU content, we now have MCU content. So if they keep up with this, if there's a docuseries for Falcon and Winter Soldier and for Loki, etc., there will be no weeks in this year where we don't have brand new MCU content. And I'm going to break all of our rules of point giving right now, and I'm giving 11 points. We're going Spinal Tap on this to Disney+.
Wow. I am going to take away a point because this reminds me of the thing that came out just before WandaVision that was like, here is all the MCU footage. Yes.
Which we are getting new episodes of Legends at the same time that Assembled comes out. And instead of just being Falcon and Winter Soldier like we predicted, they're going to do one on Sharon Carter and on Baron Zemo. So at least we get a refresher on them before we go into Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Then they may keep the point.
And lastly, in our news from the TCAs this week, Peacock finally jumping in the game with so much excitement, but we're going to start off with a disappointment. And first of all, I'm taking away, and this is a lot, I'm taking away 9 points. It's a lot of points for them announcing a series called X-Rated. This is a sort of reality, we'll call it an unscripted series where they survey your exes to find out all of the things that were wrong about you so you can face them head on, including how you sexually performed and your personality and all sorts of and they're going to look at sex specifically. They really want to focus on sex in this and just seeing where people let down their exes, I guess. I'm not here for this kind of encouragement whatsoever. I feel like this is going to bring about a new type of discussion within our society where people feel like it's okay to just hurt people's feelings all the time.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Those points can stay gone, but I am going to say that Peacock should get some points. I'm going to go with 3 because they are producing original content, which they were not at launch, and it was very disappointing. And then they surprised us with how good Saved by the Bell turned out to be. So I'm going to give them those points because they are producing original content that isn't looking all terrible like that one is.
Like the next 3 that I want to talk about all look phenomenal. They've got an Untitled Craig Robinson series right now, which I am obsessed with Craig Robinson. I think he's a great comedian, and this is going to be from the executive team that was behind Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Love that series. Then they announced Bust Down today, which is an ensemble comedy series from Lauren Michaels. And, Lauren's been the creative mind behind Saturday Night Live, which has been hit or miss at points throughout the years. But this show is sort of about people taking a better look at themselves through the lives of a casino kind of thing. I don't know. It sounds funny to me. And then we've got Girls 5 Eva. Now, the name of it, I just immediately wanted to dismiss the show until I saw a trailer. And then I found out it's like a 90s girl group that has a rapper sample their music in present day and all of a sudden gets a resurgence and they reunite. And it has a brilliant cast of women. We've got Sarah Bareilles. We've got Renee Elise Goldsberry, Angelica Schuyler from Hamilton. And they even have a recurring spot for Ashley Park, who we love in Emily in Paris. So, you know what? All those points I took away from Peacock, I'm adding 9 back.
Wow. That brings us to our Challenge Yourself of the week. Last time we did not have one because we were off for a little bit and we had so much Valentine's content to check out. This time we have been challenged to check out the Billie Eilish documentary on Apple TV Plus, The World's a Little Blurry. I was like, 90 minutes, we can do it. No, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So let's see how long of this Challenge Yourself we check out. And we encourage you all to check it out as well.
I give myself 12 seconds. No, I'll give it an honest try, but to be honest, if I'm gonna date myself, I can't even tell you one Billie Eilish song. So like I've got nothing going into this. I've hit that mark which actually reminds me of Ginny and Georgia, as they called Britney Spears retro. in an episode of Ginny and Georgia, and I just really felt old.
Well, Billie Eilish is going to help us continue to feel old, and that is our challenge yourself. So let's see who won this week.
All right, let's do it. Drum roll. And the winner is Netflix this week. Finally back on top. You knew you could do it.
Congratulations, Netflix. Let's see if you can keep the crown this next week. We are so excited for everyone joining us. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Yael Teagle. That's Chelsea Schwartz. Make sure you have liked and subscribed to That Hashtag Show everywhere you're watching this Streaming Wars episode, and we'll see you next time.